The sun has no mercy today. It presses down on the land like a hand, trying to crush everything beneath it. I feel it on my shoulders, on the back of my neck, burning through the fabric of my turban. The heat rises from the ground in waves that make the horizon dance and shimmer. Somewhere out there, beyond the rocks and the dust, there is water. There must be. The desert cannot be entirely without kindness. Soraya walks beside me. She has been quiet since we left our camp at dawn, but her silence speaks. I have learned to read her silences over the years. This one carries purpose. She is watching the land, reading signs I cannot see. Her eyes move across the terrain, like fingers tracing words on a page. She sees something. I know she does, but she waits. She always waits until she is certain. We have been walking for hours. My water skin is nearly empty. I allow myself one small sip, letting the water rest on my tongue before swallowing. It is warm, almost hot, but it is life. Everything in the desert comes down to water. Without it, we are nothing but dust waiting to happen. The landscape here is different from where we usually travel. The rocks are darker, stained with minerals that have leached through over centuries. The ground dips slightly, creating a shallow depression that would be invisible to anyone not paying attention. But I am paying attention now. Soraya has stopped walking. She kneels down and touches the earth. Her fingers press into the sand, feeling something beneath the surface that I cannot perceive. She brings her hand to her nose and smells the dust. Then she looks up at me, and I see it in her eyes. Hope. Fragile. Careful hope. She tells me the earth remembers water here. Her voice is soft, almost reverent, as if speaking too loudly might scare the moisture away. She says she can smell it, faint but present, hiding just below where we stand. I have learned never to doubt her instincts. They have saved us more times than I can count. I look around at the barren landscape. Nothing grows here except a few stubborn bushes clinging to life at the edge of the depression. Their leaves are small and gray-green, adapted to survive on almost nothing. But they are alive. That means something. Roots go deep. Roots find what they need. Soraya points to the bushes. She explains that these plants are markers, living signs that water exists below. Her grandmother taught her this, she says. The old woman could find water in places where others saw only death. The knowledge passed from mother to daughter, grandmother to granddaughter, an inheritance more valuable than gold. I am grateful every day that Soraya carries this wisdom. We choose our spot carefully. Soraya walks the area slowly, testing the ground with her feet, pressing down to feel for softness, for give. She stops near the center of the depression and nods. Here. We dig here. I have only my hands and a flat stone I found earlier. It is not much, but it will have to be enough. The tools of survival are rarely elegant. They are whatever the desert provides. I begin to scrape at the surface, pushing aside the top layer of sand and dust. It comes away easily, too easily. This is just the beginning. Beneath the sand, the earth is harder, packed tight by time and pressure. Each handful I remove requires effort. My fingers curl into the soil, pulling it loose, scooping it aside. Soraya works beside me, her smaller hands moving with precision. She does not waste energy on unnecessary movements. Everything she does is efficient, purposeful. The sun continues its assault. Sweat runs down my face and drips into the hole we are creating. I wipe my brow with the back of my hand, but it does little good. The moisture evaporates almost instantly. The desert takes everything. It gives nothing freely. We have been digging for what feels like hours, but is probably less. The hole is perhaps half a meter deep now. The soil has changed color, becoming slightly darker. This could mean something, or it could mean nothing. The desert is full of false promises. I have learned not to celebrate too early. Soraya pauses, and examines the dirt clinging to her fingers. She rubs it between her thumb and forefinger, testing its texture. Then she brings it close to her face, studying it with an intensity that borders on meditation. She murmurs that the soil is cooler here, not cold, not wet, but cooler than it should be at this depth. Water leaves traces even when it hides. My arms ache. The muscles in my shoulders burn with a fire that rivals the sun above, but I cannot stop. Not now. Not when we might be close. The body complains, but the body can be ignored when survival is at stake. I have learned this lesson many times. I think of my grandfather. He dug wells in the old days, before the world changed, before everything became complicated. He told me once that water calls to those who know how to listen. I never understood what he meant until I met Sahara. She listens. She hears what the earth whispers. The hole is deeper now, past my elbow when I reach down into it. The sides are rough, carved by desperate hands rather than proper tools. Small stones and pebbles fall back into the bottom, and I must clear them away again and again. Progress is slow, but progress is happening. Sahara suddenly holds up her hand, signaling me to stop. She leans into the hole, her face close to the earth at the bottom. She breathes deeply, pulling air into her lungs, testing it for moisture. Then she looks at me with something new in her eyes. Certainty. The doubt has lifted. She says she can feel it now. The water is there waiting. We just need to go a little deeper. Her words give me strength I did not know I still possessed. I attack the earth with renewed energy. My fingers dig and scrape and pull. The soil comes away in clumps now, held together by something I cannot see. Moisture, hidden moisture binding the particles together. We are close. We must be close. Sahara takes over for a while, giving my hands a chance to rest. I watch her work, marveling at her determination. She has always been stronger than she looks, not in the way of muscles and physical power, but in the way that matters more. The strength of will, the refusal to surrender. She speaks as she digs, telling me about a time when she was young and watched her grandmother find water in a place everyone had given up on. The old woman walked for an entire day, following signs only she could see, until she stopped at a spot that looked like every other spot in the desert. They dug for hours, and just when everyone wanted to quit, water bubbled up from below. Cool, clean water that saved their village. Sahara says she never forgot that day. She never forgot what patience and faith could achieve. The story sustains me as much as any drink could. Words can be nourishment too. I have learned this from Sahara over our many years together. She does not speak often, but when she does, her words carry weight. They carry meaning. They carry the accumulated wisdom of generations who came before. I take over the digging again. The hole is nearly a meter deep now. I must lie on my stomach to reach the bottom, stretching my arm down into the cool darkness. Yes, cool. The temperature has definitely changed. The earth at the bottom of our hole is noticeably cooler than the scorching surface above. This is a sign. This must be a sign. My fingers touch something different. The texture has changed. No longer dry and crumbling, but dense and heavy. Clay, perhaps, or mud. I pull out a handful and hold it up to the light. It is dark brown, almost black, and it is wet. Not dripping, not saturated, but undeniably wet. Moisture clings to my skin. I show Sahara. Her face transforms. The exhaustion falls away, replaced by joy so pure it makes her look young again. She takes the soil from my hand and examines it, confirms what I already know. We have found it. After all this effort, all this struggle, we have found what we were seeking. Water exists here, just below our feet. But the work is not finished. Finding traces of moisture is not the same as finding water we can drink. We must go deeper still. The source awaits, hiding just out of reach, teasing us with promises it must now keep. I dig with new purpose. Every handful of soil I remove brings us closer. The walls of our hole are damp now, leaving dark stains on my hands and arms. The smell of earth fills my nostrils, rich and alive. This is the smell of survival. This is the smell of hope, fulfilled. Soraya helps me widen the hole, shaping it into something more stable. She knows instinctively that a well must have structure, must be built to last. We are not just digging a hole. We are creating a source of life. This requires care. This requires thought. The bottom of the hole begins to change. The mud becomes softer, wetter. Water seeps in from the sides, slow trickles that pool at the lowest point. I stop digging and watch in wonder as the depression fills. It takes time. Minutes stretch into what feels like hours. But gradually, inevitably, water gathers. Soraya leans close and whispers that we must wait. The water needs time to clear. It is muddy now, clouded with the soil we disturbed. But it will settle. Patience is required. More patience, after all the patience we have already shown. The desert demands much. It tests us constantly. But we have passed this test. We sit back from the hole and rest. My body trembles with exhaustion. Muscles I forgot I had screamed their protests. But none of it matters. We have found water in the burning desert, just 1 meter below the surface. The earth held this treasure for us. We only needed to know where to look and have the determination to reach it. The sun begins its slow descent toward the horizon. The brutal heat of midday softens into something almost bearable. Shadows lengthen across the sand, reaching toward us like gentle fingers. Time passes differently in the desert. Sometimes it crawls. Sometimes it races. Now, in this moment of triumph, it seems to pause entirely. Soraya checks the water. She cups her hands and carefully lifts a small amount from the pool at the bottom of our well. It is still cloudy, but clearer than before. She lets it filter through her fingers, watching how it moves, how it catches the light. Then she nods. Soon, she says. Soon it will be ready. While we wait, Soraya gathers materials for filtering. She finds small stones, arranges them in layers in a piece of cloth she unwraps from around her waist. Larger stones at the bottom, smaller ones above. Then a layer of sand she carefully separates from the soil around us. She works with practiced efficiency. This is not the first time she has done this. This is knowledge worn smooth by repetition. I watch her hands move. They are rough, these hands, calloused and weathered by years of work, but they move with grace, with purpose. Beautiful hands. Hands that have built shelters and made fire and found water in the depths of the desert. Hands that have held mine through countless difficulties. I do not tell her often enough how grateful I am for these hands. Perhaps tonight, by the fire, I will find the words. The water in our well has settled. It is not perfectly clear, but it is close enough. Soraya prepares her filter, holding it over a container fashioned from leaves and bark. She instructs me to scoop the water slowly, carefully, disturbing the sediment at the bottom as little as possible. Her voice is calm, assured. She knows exactly what needs to be done. I follow her instructions. My hands cup the precious liquid, lifting it from the earth that held it secret for so long. I pour it through her filter, watching as it passes through layers of stone and sand, emerging cleaner on the other side. The process is slow. Each handful yields only a small amount of filtered water, but the container fills, bit by bit, measure by measure. Soraya monitors the process, adjusting her filter when necessary, adding fresh sand when the old becomes too clogged with sediment. She explains each step as she works, telling me why certain techniques work better than others. Her grandmother taught her these methods, she says, and her grandmother learned from her own grandmother, a chain of knowledge stretching back further than anyone can remember. We are not alone in this desert. We carry our ancestors with us. The sun touches the horizon now, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink and purple. The beauty of desert sunsets never fails to move me. Such harshness by day, such gentleness at evening. The land that tries to kill us also gifts us with visions of staggering beauty. This is the paradox I have learned to accept. Our container is nearly full. Perhaps 2 liters of filtered water, enough to sustain us, enough to give us strength for whatever comes next. Soraya lifts the container and examines its contents. The water is not perfectly clear, but it is clean enough to drink safely. She hands it to me first. I hesitate. She found the water. She led us to this place. She should drink first, but she insists, her eyes brooking no argument. She says I dug the deepest. I spent my strength reaching the source. The first drink belongs to me. I do not argue. After so many years, I know when Soraya has made up her mind. The water touches my lips, cool despite the lingering heat of the day. It flows across my tongue, down my throat, spreading life through my exhausted body. Never has water tasted so sweet. Never has anything tasted so necessary. I drink carefully, taking only what I need, leaving plenty for Soraya and for the journey ahead. She drinks after me, her eyes closing as the water reaches her lips. A small sound escapes her, something between a sigh and a prayer. Gratitude made audible. I understand completely. Words are insufficient for moments like this. Only sounds can capture what we feel. We must make camp now. The light is fading fast, and traveling through the desert at night holds dangers we need not risk. I gather whatever dry brush and dead wood I can find near our well. It is not much, but it should be enough for a small fire. Warmth will be welcome as the temperature drops. The desert that burned us by day will try to freeze us by night. Soraya prepares the fire pit, while I collect fuel. She clears a space in the sand, arranging stones in a circle to contain the flames. Her movements are quick and precise. She has done this countless times before. Fire is her domain as much as water. She understands its needs, its hungers, its moods. By the time I return with my armload of wood, she has created a nest of dry grass and tiny twigs at the center of her circle. She takes 2 stones from a pouch at her waist and strikes them together. Sparks fly. Most die in the air, but one catches the dried grass. A small curl of smoke rises. She bends low and blows gently, nurturing the spark into a flame. The fire grows. Orange light pushes back the gathering darkness. Shadows dance on the sand around us, painting stories I cannot quite read. I add larger pieces of wood, careful not to smother what Soraya has created. Fire, like water, like life itself, requires balance. Too much, too fast, and everything is lost. We sit by our fire, watching the flames, feeling their warmth. The water container rests between us, a symbol of everything we accomplished today. Tomorrow, we will return to our camp with this treasure, but tonight, we stay here near our well, near this gift the desert has given us. Soraya speaks softly. She says this place will be important. She says we should remember it, mark it somehow so we can find it again. Water this close to the surface is rare, a treasure worth protecting. I agree. Perhaps we will build something here eventually. A proper well with walls of stone. A place to return to when the desert tests us again. I add more wood to the fire. The flames leap higher, casting their light further into the darkness.
Somewhere beyond our circle of warmth, the desert waits. Patient, indifferent, eternal. It does not care whether we survive or perish. It simply exists. We are the ones who must care. We are the ones who must strive. Soraya leans against me, her shoulder touching mine. The contact is warm, comforting. We do not need words in moments like this. Words would only diminish what we share.
The silence between us is full, complete. It holds everything we have been through, everything we have accomplished, everything we hope to accomplish still. I think about the day behind us, the endless walking, the burning sun, the desperate digging. My body is exhausted, pushed to limits I did not know existed. But my spirit is full. We found water in the burning desert. We refused to surrender. We listened to the earth and followed its guidance. The desert taught us something today. It taught us that hope is never foolish when paired with knowledge and determination. The fire crackles and pops, sending sparks spiraling into the darkness above. I watch them rise, tiny points of light against the vast canvas of stars now emerging overhead. The sky in the desert is different from anywhere else. No lights to dim its brilliance, no haze to blur its countless stars. Looking up feels like looking into infinity itself. Soraya points to a constellation I do not recognize. She tells me her grandmother called it the Water Bearer, a figure from old stories who carried life across the heavens. She says finding water on the same day we see this constellation is a good omen. I am not sure I believe in omens, but I believe in Soraya. If she says it is good, then it is good. We eat a small meal of dried bread and dates we brought from our camp. Not much, but enough. The food tastes better than any feast after what we have accomplished. Survival has a way of sharpening the senses, of making simple things profound. A piece of bread becomes a miracle. A handful of dates becomes a celebration. Soraya mentions that tomorrow she will show me how to line the well with stones. She learned this technique from watching her father, she says. He was a builder, a man who understood how to make things last. The well must be protected from collapse, from contamination, from the endless sand that wants to reclaim everything. Proper walls will ensure this water source survives. I listen to her plans, imagining the work ahead. There will be more digging, more lifting, more effort. But it will be effort with purpose. We are not just surviving anymore. We are building something, creating something that will outlast us. Perhaps others will find this well someday. Perhaps they will drink from it and wonder who made it possible. This thought pleases me. The night deepens. The fire burns lower. Soraya adds the last of our wood, just enough to sustain the flames until we sleep. The desert cold is settling in now, a chill that seeps through fabric and skin. We move closer to each other, sharing warmth. This is how we survive the nights. Together, always together. She whispers something I almost miss. She says she is proud of what we did today, proud of us. Her voice carries a tenderness that makes my chest ache. I turn to look at her face in the firelight. The dancing flames paint her features in gold and shadow. She is beautiful. After all these years, she is still beautiful. More beautiful, perhaps, because now I see not just her face, but everything she is. I tell her the water was her discovery. She found the signs. She read the land. Without her, we would still be searching, still dying of thirst. She shakes her head, dismissing my words. She insists it was both of us, the reading and the digging, the knowing and the doing. Neither would succeed without the other. This is what we are, she says. Two halves of one whole. The fire fades to embers, red and orange coals, pulsing with the last of their heat. I stare into them, watching shapes form and dissolve. Fire is hypnotic. It quiets the mind. It makes space for thoughts that hide during the busy hours of day. I think about time. How much have we spent in this desert? How many sunrises and sunsets? The count escaped me long ago. Days blur into weeks, into months, into years. But Soraya remains constant. She is my anchor. Without her, I would have been lost ages ago. Not just lost in the desert, but lost in myself. The stars wheel slowly overhead, tracing their ancient paths across the sky. The universe moves according to its own schedule, indifferent to our small dramas below. But this indifference is not cruel. It is simply perspective. We are small, our struggles are small, and yet they matter. They matter to us. That is enough. Soraya's breathing has changed. Slower, deeper. She sleeps against my shoulder, trusting me to keep watch. I will not disappoint that trust. I will stay awake a while longer, tending the coals, listening to the night sounds, guarding our little camp. The desert speaks in the darkness. Wind sighing through dry bushes, sand shifting against stone. Somewhere in the distance, an animal calls, its voice lonely and wild. These sounds no longer frighten me. They are simply the desert's conversation, its endless monologue that never quite reaches resolution. I add a few small twigs to the coals, not enough to build the fire back, just enough to keep the warmth alive. The heat feels good against my face. My muscles are finally relaxing, releasing the tension of the day's labor. Tomorrow, I will be sore. Tomorrow, every movement will remind me of the price we paid. But the price was worth it. The water proves that. I look at the container resting beside us, 2 liters of filtered water. Enough for several days if we are careful, and the well holds more, much more. We can return whenever we need. We have created security. In the desert, there is no greater gift. Soraya stirs slightly, adjusting her position against me. Even in sleep, she seeks closeness. We have always been this way. 2 people who found each other and never let go. The desert throws everything at us. Every challenge, every hardship, every test. But it cannot break what we have. Nothing can break what we have. The coals pulse one final time, then settle into gray ash. The darkness closes in, held back only by starlight. I close my eyes but do not sleep yet. I let my mind drift, reviewing the day, storing memories that will sustain me in harder times. The feel of wet soil in my hands. The look in Soraya's eyes when she knew we had found water. The taste of that first precious drink. These are the moments that define a life. Not the grand events, not the dramatic turning points, but the small victories. Finding water in the burning desert, sharing it with someone you love, sitting by a fire under infinite stars. These moments are enough. They are more than enough. I will sleep now. The night is cold, but not unbearable. Soraya is warm beside me. Tomorrow brings new challenges, new opportunities. The well needs to be finished. The water needs to be protected. There is always more work in the desert. But that is not a burden. That is simply life. My grandfather told me once that a man who knows how to find water will never truly be lost. I understand those words now. Water is not just survival. It is connection. Connection to the land that provides. Connection to the knowledge passed down through generations. Connection to the person beside you who shares your struggle and your triumph. Soraya murmurs something in her sleep. I cannot make out the words, but they sound peaceful. Content. This is the sound of someone who has worked hard and succeeded. This is the sound of deserved rest. I let it wash over me like the water we found, soothing, refreshing, full of promise. The desert surrounds us, vast and dark and indifferent. But within our small circle there is warmth, there is life, there is everything that matters. Tomorrow the sun will rise again, brutal and unforgiving. Tomorrow we will face new tests, new demands, but we have proven ourselves today. We have shown what we can do when we work together, when we trust each other, when we refuse to give up. The water waits in its container, our hard-won treasure. The well waits to be finished, our gift to the future. And Soraya waits beside me, partner in everything, companion through all trials. I let sleep finally claim me, surrendering to the darkness, knowing that light will return. It always does. The desert teaches many lessons, but perhaps the most important is this. After every night comes morning. After every hardship comes relief. After every search for those who persist comes discovery. We found water just 1 meter down in the burning desert. We dug through rock and clay and doubt. We listened to ancient wisdom and trusted each other completely. And the earth rewarded us. The earth gave us what we needed. This is how we survive. This is how we live. Not just enduring, but learning. Not just struggling, but growing. The desert strips away everything unnecessary until only truth remains. And the truth is simple. Water is life. Knowledge is power. And love, the quiet kind that needs no words, is what makes everything else possible. The fire has gone cold. The stars continue their patient journey. And somewhere beneath our feet, in the well we created together, water waits for morning, ready to sustain us through whatever comes next. This has been a good day, one of the best. I will remember it always. The burning sun, the desperate hope, the moment of discovery. Soraya's face transformed by joy, all of it burned into memory, permanent and precious. Sleep takes me now, gentle and complete. The last thing I feel is warmth beside me. The last thing I know is gratitude. Tomorrow we build the well. Tomorrow we continue. But tonight we rest. The desert has taught us well.